You may have heard this year we are celebrating 70 years of Wood TV. As part of that celebration, we've been going back on the Michigan Road, re-airing some of Dick Evans' old stories. And one of Dick's favorite places was the Mackinac Bridge. During his final year at the station in 1991, he took a look back at the history of the bridge.
How we take things for granted. To get to the upper or lower parts of Michigan, simple, drive. But as I stood there in awe of its immensity, I couldn't help but think back not that many years ago when deer hunters would line up sometimes 19 miles of cars to get to one of the car ferries. They started in 1923, and by 1940, there was a fair-sized fleet. Still, it sometimes took 2 hours to board, get across, and unload. People had dreams of a bridge across. Many said it could never be done. One proposal was to tunnel or tube under the water. Another was an island hop from Sheboygan to Boblo to Round to Mackinac Islands and end up at St. Ignace, a distance of 24 miles. The anchorage came first in 88 feet of water. It was a 170-ton chunk of concrete, enough to pave 20 miles of 4-lane superhighway. Then the towers, they took 5 months, and they were sunk in 200 feet of water. Cable making was really unique. 8 wires were spun with each crossing of those wheels. Took a half hour to get end to end. 340 of these made one strand, and there were 37 strands to make the cable 24.5 inches in diameter. Now it gets hairy. Workers seem to dance on these makeshift bridges. Steelworkers clambered about as if walking a city sidewalk. 5 construction workers would lose their lives. To those who watched, it looked strange, projecting out there, getting nowhere. The steel sections were put together on land and barged to where they were destined. Because weight was a serious factor, steel decking was used, which allows winds to circulate and snows to melt through. A thin layer of asphalt was placed over the outside lanes, which most prefer to use today. What the public generally does not know is the effect weather has on that bridge. The center span will vary as much as 10 feet up or down. It will rise in winter 5 feet from the norm and sag 5 feet in hot weather.
The Big Mac Bridge opened November 1957, just in time for deer season. Soapy Williams was in the first car to go across. The bridge cost $100 million.
The original estimate made in the 30s, $24 million. In St. Ignace, I'm Dick Evans on the Michigan Road.
And if you enjoyed that, we invite you to join us on Thursday and Friday evening for a special look back. We will re-air the best of the Michigan Road for the first time since 1990. That's Thursday and Friday nights at 7 o'clock.